Okay, so the safety is kind of like, you know, a standard Armalite rifle style safety. It doesn't look so like on the saw, it's a crossbolt safety. I do like how it's holding it. So you see, very common, not the way, but this is the way I teach. And you can see the magazine has like a extension on the bottom. You know, I've never been in a firefight and been like, oh man, I have too much ammunition. So this is a futuristic thing, and the shape, the general shape looks great. A lot of people are switching to flat front trigger guards because it allows you, especially for competition shooting. I don't teach that, and I prefer not to do it because I always run a tactical light at the bottom of my pistol.
Okay.
Moving your hand forward, a lot of competition shooters will use that trigger guard to help stabilize.
Interesting.
And the further your support hand theoretically goes on that weapon, the more stabilization you give, the quicker the follow-up shots. I also like the magazine. It looks like there's a clearly beveled magazine well. That's one of the things I do to my duty pistols.
In terms of the type or style, what do you think it's taken from? Any kind of real life equivalents maybe?
This kind of looks like any generic pistol, but the grip looks a lot like double stack staccato. They call them 2011s. It's like a high capacity or larger capacity 1911. And you can see the magazine has like a extension on the bottom. You know, I've never been in a firefight and been like, oh man, I have too much ammunition.
No, this is the Volt. This is an energy weapon.
Okay, cool.
Energy rifle.
So we have all of our indicators on the side. Did I interrupt you?
No, go ahead. I'll fit it in.
So we got like a heat shield on the front, a barrel shroud, a shoulder thing that goes up. You know. The sights look decent. I really like the rear sight. I'm a big fan of protecting my rear sight. I'm pretty abusive to my equipment. I like these little charms on the side too. That's quite a long magazine well, so it almost looks like a Magpul. I'm a big fan of Magpul. They make a bunch of cool stuff. Nice base plate on that magazine that you can grip it, pull it out of your mag pouch is pretty easy. On the sides, it looks like you could, you know, attach things, your infrared lasers and whatnot. It looks like that's like a piece of some type of modern Picatinny rail. For iron sights, like there's so much to adjust. It's so much to, you know, it takes extra time to make sure you're right in the center, where if it's a smaller U-notch or a smaller trough, or I like peep sights. Yep. I like peep apertures. They're very effective. Oh, he's getting fancy. So that flipping around is a little safer to do with single actions, because if you don't have the hammer cocked back,
right.
Single action means the trigger does one thing. Double action means the trigger does two things. Most double action revolvers also can function as single action just by cocking the hammer back. But with a single action pistol, it's a little safer because pulling that trigger isn't going to do anything. I like how it expands out. It gives like a nice visual flare. And so what this does too is it helps with that cylinder gap. So with modern revolvers, or just revolvers in general, there's going to be a gap in between the cylinder and the barrel. And you don't want to put anything in front of that. If you're shooting like a little 22, and that's generally what I start teaching people how to shoot with, is a little 22 long rifle. You know, it's not that, there's not a lot of debris coming out, but if you're shooting like a 500 Smith & Wesson, you're gonna have a lot more debris and gas and not fun stuff coming out between that cylinder gap. I do like how it's holding it. This is the way I teach. The grip, as you see, so I'm holding right-handed right now. You cross your thumbs over, so that way you can manipulate that hammer with your non-dominant thumb. And one of the reasons for that is so that way you're not breaking your grip. Like, they had a very realistic grip. Oh yeah, so this reminds me of the SAW. Squad automatic weapon, shoots 5.56, based off of, I believe, the FN Mini. It looks like it's a drum, but I believe this is a magazine. And the only thing that's confusing to me is why it's U-shaped. What's interesting about this is it looks like a drum, or what we would, you know, affectionately call our nut sacks.
Right.
The rails on it look great. That forward pistol grip, you can move back and forth. That's a good place to mount pressure switches. You got a nice big knob to pull back. Okay, so the safety is kind of like, you know, a standard Armalite rifle style safety. It doesn't look so like on the SAW, it's a crossbolt safety. Okay, the sights are better on this than a lot of these that I've seen. It's, you know, a smaller peep. Carrying handle makes sense. That's on weapons of this size. It doesn't look like that charging handle is reciprocating, does it?
It is.
It is reciprocating?
Like
okay. Is this the game that my brother-in-law was like, this is awesome? Or
yep.
This one? Okay, so he did say this one was. This has got some like Bren going on, little CZ Bren. The first Bren had some issues. The Bren 2 I like. And the CZ Bren is like a Czech version of the FN Scar.
Right when I was getting out of the military, they were just starting to train with the Scar.
Do you have any experience behind it? Or?
Nope, never touched it.
I was never issued a Scar. My stuff was pretty run-of-the-mill. You know, the craziest thing I ever gunned was the Mark 19. Fully automatic, chain-fed 40mm grenade launcher.
Right on.
So this is cool. Like the safety's at a good spot that you can reach to. I really like, you know, Armalite rifle or AR style safety. It's very intuitive, and it's been adapted by a lot of modern platforms. The charging handle looks like it's folded, and you could fold it out. I do like that, and if it's going to be, yeah, it's reciprocating, but it folds in, which is less likely to catch on stuff or anything. A nice pat to make sure it's in there. Like, You know, that's the
detail
thing,
work.
like, because a lot of new students, a lot of new shooters will insert their magazine and then they're ready to go. And then, like, it's not working. It's like, did you really insert the magazine? Did you make sure that it was in? Yeah, I like that. That's a nice touch. Ooh, look at this. Okay. So it's got that downward, like, MP5 style hook, or I don't know what the technical term is. It's like a hand stop. It keeps your hand from going in front of the barrel. It's interesting that it's that far back, though. And we got some electronic stuff going on, or some, like, gas. I wonder if this shoots flames or.
Yeah,
like,
I always wondered about those, like directing gas or like maybe battery powered to some sight or something like that.
I mean, the rear sight post's protected, and you got your elevation knob right there. I wonder if there's a. Where's the front sight post, though?
I don't think there is one on this.
Oh no! It's always like a big thing when I see movies.
It is a
Okay,
bullpup.
it is a bullpup. Bullpups are great. This is a rather long bullpup, though. Like, the whole point of a bullpup, the main point is to have a standard length barrel, but it's in closer, so it's much better for urban combat or going into houses and going into rooms. Now, is this a rifle or a pistol caliber? It looks like a rifle, doesn't it?
It's a light round.
Maybe something like the 5.7.
No, it looks like I got a really steep forward angle on that magazine.
It does.
Is that
it does.
realistic?
I mean, it can be. It does look a little extreme, but it doesn't look too bad to me. At least not at this angle. That's a great big trigger guard in there, which, you know, would allow you to. I mean, maybe this is for cold weather as well. You got the ambidextrous charging handle there, and that's you know, I like those charging handles. They're really easy to grab. They're skeletonized, so there's not a lot of weight to them.
I'm not seeing a lot of left-handed love in this game. Everybody seems to be right-handed.
I think you
Strongly
should
worded
give a
tweet.
very angry tweet.
Better watch out, Apex.
Then the world will be given to you. I like that these all look very clean. They fit the world, and they're realistic looking to me. You know?
I'm not a big fan of it because, like I say, I need lots of rounds.
Lots of
downrange.
rounds, big rounds, downrange, gotcha. This is more of an extreme angle. This seems more unrealistic to me. Everything else about the gun looks more realistic, though. This looks like one of the more old school. Got the front end it's got this H&K MP5 thing going without the bolt. Some of those MP5s have like a tack light built into it, the old school ones. Like, we were still running incandescent lights before LEDs were all the rage. I mean, it's not that long ago.
No,
it's
man.
not that long ago. So we got this like MP5 thing going on in the front. Not so much the bolt system, but it's got like this tack light, it looks like, underneath that.
Gotcha.
You know, was really popular with the MP5s. And then you have that lip to keep your hand from going in front and accidentally getting the finger blown off with the muzzle. And I'm a big fan of the stubby forward grips. Again, huge trigger well, which you could use in cold weather for,
Looks like the mag
gloves.
release is pretty big.
Now check out the charging handle in the back. That's more of like an Armalite style, AR style. And
straight
I
up-
think
straight
it's
from the back,
folded
yeah.
too, but yeah, so you pull it back.
Could just be a game design thing for
It could be, or maybe
field
it's
of view.
is it projecting a hologram on the gun?
that little X
Yep.
looking thing. That shows up when you aim
When you're
down
on the
sights,
target,
yeah.
okay. Oh, you know what? That's what this is based off of. Well, it could be based off the M1A, and they have a Scout. But this is based off of the M14. I don't know if this is based off of that. This looks more like some, you know, I only say weird or goofy looking because of that weird bolt section. But this looks like it's based off of the M14. Our M4s, they're straight back, right? And it's easy to take that recoil when we're going burst or full auto. I've never used 3-round burst. I think that's dumb. Just be full auto and semi. It's easy to manage that recoil because it's straight back. But on this rifle, because it dips down like a traditional hunting rifle, when you shoot it full auto, it wants to pivot right there, and so it's incredibly hard to control. Another funny thing about this is it looks like it has kind of a standard M14 safety, but it's in front of the trigger instead of like inside of the trigger. But then it also has this thing on the back, which looks like a Mossberg 500 safety. The charging handle is pretty far forward on it.
It looks like it's on both sides too.
Yeah, and again, and I like that.
I like the
everything's
flipping out
getting
the
ambidextrous.
magazine.
Yep, paddle style mag release. When you get good at running an AK, that's how you do it with an AK. Now, is this pretty accurate? Is it easy to take follow-up shots? It looks like it is.
Yeah.
Ooh, pretty. This is the sniper rifle, but it looks like a bow rifle. And
I was
this-
gonna say it almost looks similar to the 301 or the 99, just a longer version of it. Plus, it's got a bipod.
Because
on the
I'm
front.
seeing a lot of CZ Bren here. I'm seeing a lot of Scar, a lot of Musada or Masada, which became the ACR. Mostly reminds me of the Bren. We got the cool folding bipod up front. I like that stubby forward vertical grip. We got the rails on the sides to attach stuff. It looks like an H&K style rear sight. Is that a drum that turns?
It's looking
Yep.
like you
Yeah,
can
those
dial
are
it.
cool. Or is that something in the background? That's something in the background. That's a structure in the background. Look at that big ass button right there. That's probably your mag release, or is that the bolt release? We'll find out. Jesus, it's a big. It's showing a lot of recoil. Holy moly! How many rounds are in a magazine here? Let's find out. Jesus, 6. Now, this is a distance rifle. This is like a sniper rifle.
Yeah.
For a magazine that big to only carry 6 rounds, it's got to be a whopping round. And the bigger the round, the more powder you need. And depending upon the shape of it and everything too, you know, how far you're going to go out there.